Hi my gorgeous girlies, welcome back to another vlog. I hope you had the most amazing weekend since you're watching this on a Monday or Tuesday, depending on when I get it up. Let's do a little weekend vlog. It's currently Saturday at 2:15 right now for me. I actually had like a pretty busy weekend already with travel and everything. I started traveling Friday morning, yesterday morning, and to be honest, I was just like working so much this week that I haven't been able to get like any vlog footage in already. And I've just been like uninspired with content, and that makes me so sad. But I would love for y'all to give me like maybe some ideas, because content for me is just like an escape a lot of times. Like it's an outlet to like be able to actually connect with y'all and find my people and feel like I, you know, have that community that really fuels me to push myself to work hard and do better and to like set a good example, but like be vulnerable and open and connect over our common experiences. And lately I've just been feeling like I have nothing important to say. And this was a little bit deep to get into the first part of this vlog, but I don't know why I'm like stuck in a rut. If you're wondering why I'm sitting here like in a bathing suit, it's because we have a pool party day. I traveled from Dallas yesterday morning and came to Conroe around the Woodlands for my uncle's birthday party at my aunt's house. So I'm staying in her upstairs. And we've honestly done a lot that would have been great for the vlog, but I've just been feeling like none of it matters. I've been feeling so inspired and that like the content is boring and that it's just like no point in filming it, which is crazy. And it's just stupid thoughts racking in my brain. Yesterday was a travel day and we basically just stayed at home and watched movies. I made an amazing yogurt bowl last night. I'll put a little picture on the screen so y'all can see it because it was actually so freaking delicious. It was like a pecan turtle one. Oh my gosh. There's these little like keto clusters that I think they're Atkins, I don't know, but their mom has them and you rip them apart. They have caramel in them, and I put that on top of my yogurt bowl and it was insane. So I'm gonna do that again today. But this morning I woke up early at like 7. I went on a walk around this beautiful neighborhood. Would have been a great time to vlog, didn't. Made an amazing buffalo chicken dip. Would have been a great time to vlog, didn't. I will vlog that later though because I want to show y'all. It's my normal buffalo chicken dip that I've made on my TikTok, the high protein low carb one. But I made it for everybody, so I hope everybody likes it and then it turns out good, because it's the first time I've made it for anybody but me and my husband. So we'll see how it comes out. I promise that I'm gonna vlog today because we're gonna be swimming and we're obviously just gonna be having fun. It's a really chill day. It's a rest day for me at the gym. So I just went on a walk this morning. I think it was about like a 50-minute walk. And then I came back home after we did buffalo chicken dip. We got bagels this morning as well. I had an egg and cheese bagel, and then I also tried this like I had a poppy seed bagel, the honey walnut cream cheese. It was so freaking good. And I still have half of it left in the fridge. I'm gonna eat tomorrow. So surely I'll be able to show you that too. But as far as the rest of the time goes today, we're just having a fun little pool party and chilling. My husband's on his way down. We're gonna swim. Tomorrow morning we're actually gonna either drive to the Houston Equinox and check it out and do our leg day there, or we might go get a day pass at a gym closer if it's too long, because it's like a 50-minute drive and I just don't know if it's worth it. So we'll figure out how we feel after tonight. But we have a big day tomorrow. A good workout, of course, NFL football. We'll be, you know, rallying around the house, and then we're gonna go out to dinner somewhere really nice. Oh my gosh, my light just died. I need to plug her up. Hopefully you can still see me. Anyways, we're gonna go out to dinner somewhere really nice and get, you know, maybe some sushi or something. I'm like really craving seafood. We'll see how that goes. And then after that, we really should be good to go with like a day tomorrow, and we're gonna leave Monday morning and come home. It's a fun little weekend. I'm excited for today. I forced myself to pop on here. I almost didn't do it, but I am. And I'm gonna post an Instagram story and get some Q&As so that we can sit down and do a little chatty Q&A too, and put it in this video, hopefully. So as far as my outfit goes, let me show you because it's so cute. I have my Chanel glasses, my little headbands. These are linked to my Amazon storefront. And then look how cute this bathing suit is. She's a one piece. I got her from Target. I'm absolutely obsessed. I'm gonna wear it with some little blue jean shorts and then just my little slides. But it actually is like my favorite bathing suit I've ever worn. And the shape of it is so flattering too. Like, I don't know when I became a one-piece girly, but honestly, I feel so much more confident. I think it's like one of those things where it's like, when you wear baggy clothes in the gym and you feel so much more confident for no reason. That's also sometimes how I feel in like a snatched one piece. Let's go get our party on. Not me seriously forgetting to get a picture of the buffalo chicken dip. Actually, I got a picture of it. I just didn't get a video. Here's the picture. Everybody loved it. It was a huge hit. We ate all of it. Okay, now we're at the pool. We're trying to get the hot tub to heat up. Look how beautiful. This is the hot tub. I'm freezing inside, so I was like, I'm gonna go get in the hot tub. I get in the hot tub and it's cold. So now Colin's trying to turn it on for me to heat it up to get it to like 90. You got it?
I think so. It's lit up now. Does that mean it's turning on?
Now we have to wait like 15 minutes now.
It says 90, 85 and 91.
Yeah.
Is that all good?
Maybe turn it up to 9. So now we have 15 minutes until the pool, the thing heats up, okay? And we're drinking bubbles. Cheers. And this is what we're gonna be doing all night. So nothing crazy, but husband has arrived. Say hey chat. How do you say chat in Spanish? Because I'm gonna start saying hey chat in Spanish. If I have any followers out there who speak Spanish, tell me how to say chat in Spanish in the comments. Okay, happy Sunday. We're headed to the gym. Here's the fit. I'm eating my bagel on the way. It's leg day. I have to hip thrust 255 for 15 reps today, so wish me luck. We're driving my aunt's new Benz to the gym because she was like, oh my gosh, you have to drive it, you're gonna love it. Look at this. This is what it looks like. Literally gorge. Has like pink lights in it. We're headed to Villa Sport Gym. It's in the Woodlands. It's like a big gym. We got a day pass to it. And then I'm eating this little solo bagel. And I'm eating this protein solo bagel as my pre-workout with the honey walnut cream cheese that I got on my bagel from the bagel place yesterday. It's really freaking good. The weather is so bad, it's raining, but we grind nonetheless. So pre-workout, leg day, commence. Okay, it's football Sunday. I'm bored. So I decided to bake some protein cookies because it's technically fall now that football is on. And they're done. I should have recorded this. Why did I not? I forgot, but let me show you. I made 2 batches of these, so there's 10 total. They look so gorge. They have Hershey's on top, but look how thick they are. It was so easy. All I did was add a cup of peanut butter, 2 mashed ripe bananas, a cup of pumpkin spice protein powder, and then mix that all together, add a cup of almond flour to it. Mix that up, make it into dough, and then after that, you're just gonna place the dough on each of, like on the foil on the pan. And before you bake it, put your little Hershey's on top. You could do Hershey Kisses too, or just regular chocolate chips, but I didn't have regular chocolate chips. So I did it like this, and they came out so good. And it made 10, because I have another pan. I have another pan back there. We're gonna try them in a second, but they look so good. So, almond flour, peanut butter, protein powder, banana, Hershey's. And you bake for 12 minutes on 350. Get in the camera. Okay, we're taste testing. Oh, focus. Oh, girl, it's a video. Okay. We're taste testing it. And you can be honest because it's not my recipe. So I'm glad I can be honest. Cheers. I need more chocolate. It needs to be baked less, I think.
But it's good.
Yeah.
It's better with the chocolate.
Why didn't the chocolate melt?
I don't know. Maybe you need chocolate chips in the recipe.
We didn't have chocolate chips. It's kind of giving cake.
The consistency is, yeah.
Okay. You need chocolate chips in it, inside of it. Maybe maple syrup. They look pretty though. My girly pops. Okay, I know we talked about me being uninspired with content and being in a conundrum, and I still kind of feel that way. So I'm gonna really need y'all to help me figure out what y'all like to see on YouTube, because for some reason I'm just not feeling like my content is giving lately. And I wanna know, like, what is most important to y'all? What can I help with? But I had an idea that I thought would round out this video pretty well. So if this isn't my best video, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best over here. Just because I'm feeling uninspired doesn't mean that you guys are. And I wanted to go ahead and post on my story and see, because obviously, like, my job is being a weight loss coach. It's what I do 24/7. And I know that y'all always have like a bunch of questions for me around how I can help y'all in your own fitness journey, whatever goals that you have. So I thought it'd be an awesome idea for me to post on my story on my Instagram, see how I can help y'all, what y'all are struggling with lately, so that I could kind of just answer those questions in my YouTube, because I know a lot of my Q&As are maybe about me or my journey, but I wanted to, you know, make this more focused on you guys and what y'all needed help with, because I think my advice in specific scenarios can really, really help you. I got Chipotle, by the way. I got a chicken bowl with white rice, lettuce, extra fajita peppers, extra green salsa, mild salsa, cheese. I think that's it. I don't get beans because I'm not a beans girl. But I have about an hour before I need to start working, so I figure y'all don't mind if I chat with you and eat some lunch. But let's just go through our questions. I got some really good questions. Honestly, I just posted a quick little story on my Instagram about an hour ago. We already got some awesome ones. So let's go through it. Okay, the very first question we have is Starbucks order with pumpkin spice that's not too sweet. I don't know why, but I never usually am like crazy for the pumpkin spice. I like it. I did get one over the weekend. I got a venti almond milk latte hot. When I get pumpkin spice, I just feel like it has to be hot. But I got 2 pumps of pumpkin and then 3 pumps of sugar-free vanilla. And that was it. I didn't need any Splenda or anything. It wasn't too sweet. It was definitely more like latte-y, but I could taste the pumpkin spice. Oh, and I added cinnamon powder to it. So That would probably be my only recommendation. That's the only one I've tried of late. Also, I added some cottage cheese to my bowl, make it a little bit more cheesy, and then heated it up when I got home. So freaking good. Okay, we got a girlie asking, how long does it take of being in a calorie deficit to lose the weight and build muscle? This completely depends on your goal, right? So I think that setting a timeline goal is helpful for you just to kind of know a roundabout estimate of where you should be progress-wise, but it's not everything. It depends on how much weight you want to lose. So if you have a goal weight, say that's 10 pounds, right? You want to be 10 pounds down, you can easily do that in 10 weeks if you execute in a calorie deficit well. Building muscle is a little bit different. Building muscle depends on a lot of factors. So if you're somebody who's building muscle and losing fat at the same time, you're not really going to be able to go by scale weight much. You're more so going to have to go by factors like how your clothes are fitting, how you're looking in your progress pictures, if you can do like body scans to read your body fat percentage and things like that. Because gaining muscle is just something that's gonna, you know, not, if you're gaining muscle and losing fat at the same time, you're not gonna be dropping on the scale as much if you're like a beginner to strength training and you're doing a body recomposition style goal. So it just kind of depends. If you're focused on fat loss, I would say a really healthy rate is around 1 pound per week. Being able to do that, you know, and stay consistent with it, it's enough so that you are seeing progress, but not too much to where you're stressing your body out and you're doing it in a really unhealthy way that sometimes feels like problematic or not productive and kind of causes you to spiral. So being balanced and flexible with yourself and setting realistic goals is really important. So I would say if you're looking at fat loss, focus on like 1 pound per week on the scale. If you're looking at fat loss and muscle gain at the same time and body recomposition, it really just comes down to consistency, and you can make big changes fast if you're really consistent day to day. Okay, also if you submitted a question and I don't get to yours, it's probably because I deleted the story and I was an idiot. And the questions that are longer than what I can see on the preview, I was just taking screenshots of the questions rather than like keeping the story up and answering them from the story. So I deleted it when I got enough questions, and now I'm reading them from the preview, but I can't read the entire thing. So I'm dumb. So if I don't answer it, that's probably why. Like this one, for example, we have a girl that says, hi, I'm trying to lose body fat and gain muscle. I've currently lost 83 pounds out of, and then it cuts off because I didn't get a, you know, picture of the entire question. So really sorry, my queen. Let me know, DM me if you can or whatever, and let me know that was you and I can maybe answer that way. But we'll move on to the next one. So next we have currently down 30 pounds. Do I continue a deficit or should I bulk and then cut again? This is completely dependent on your goals. If you're trying to figure out what your goals look like in a fitness journey, you just need to look in the mirror and be like, what do I want to see, right? When it comes to continuing a deficit, if you have more fat to lose that you want to lose, you know, I would consider continuing that deficit until you get close to a weight where you feel comfortable. And then when you're close to a weight where you feel like comfortable in your body and you're like, okay, I feel good now, like I feel like I'm at a healthy weight, but I do want more muscle mass, I would then shift. So I would like complete your fat loss goal, get to a point where you feel really good about being at a healthy body fat percentage and, you know, close to your goal where you feel like generally just like pretty lean, or as far as, you know, you're concerned, you feel a lot more confident after the weight loss. And then once you're there, then I would shift going into maybe a maintenance phase where you're still focusing on fat loss if you still have fat to lose, fat loss and muscle gain at the same time. So when you eat around your maintenance calories and you prioritize your high protein in the process, you're gonna be able to really start making, you know, changes in both areas if you're doing your cardio, doing your strength training with fat loss and muscle gain at the same time. So once you get a pretty big dent into that fat loss goal, I wouldn't say that you necessarily need to, unless you're just wanting to put on a bunch of muscle really fast, which that's still gonna come with fat gain if you do bulk, like you go in a large calorie surplus. But if you're okay with it happening a little bit slower and you kind of maintaining more of your lean stature while building muscle, I would more so just recommend doing like a maintenance phase where you're at your maintenance calories, eating high protein, you know, gram per pound of your body weight minimum, strength training and doing your cardio. And, you know, that can really help you make changes in both directions at once rather than feeling like you have to do one or the other. Okay, this is a good question. I feel like a lot of people get confused with this. How do I know if my calorie deficit is working or if I need to have less calories? A lot of people brainwash themselves into thinking that their deficit isn't working because they don't know how to track their progress correctly. So what you need to do is, one, track your calories. You know exactly how many calories you're intaking. Make sure that's really consistent. I would try to eat out as little as possible, or maybe places where you can have calories on the menu just for the first couple of weeks, so that you can really get a good read on, you know, what your total calorie intake was and how that impacted your body. You also want to weigh in like every single day. So I would weigh in every single morning before you work out, little clothing on as possible. Get that weigh in, write it down every single day over the next 2 weeks, right? 14 days. Each week, average together those weigh-ins. So you have one average weigh-in from week 1, one average weigh-in from week 2, and then you have that in response to your average calories. So look back and average the total calorie intake that you had, add all of your calories up across those 14 days, divide by 14, see what your average calorie intake was, and that's gonna show you like, okay, if our average weight dropped from 1 pound from week 1 to week 2, then we know that average calorie intake number is putting us at a pound drop per week. And then you can continue from there knowing that it's working. Now, if you're generating that and you're only getting like half a pound per week, then you would know, okay, I'm only in a 250 calorie deficit. I need to double this and drop my calories by 250 or whatever. Or no, you need to lower your calories to some degree to produce a bigger drop if you're looking for like faster weight loss. Okay, I get it. Every time I do these little Q&As, I get a lot of questions about binge eating just because I've been open about how I used to struggle with it. So I did get a question, besides the 15-minute timer, what else helped you stop binging? Because I did talk about a 15-minute timer trick that I used to do on TikTok the other day. For me, it really was about, counting calories and macros helped me a lot because used to, I would have these certain foods that I restricted from for so long because I deemed them so bad that I would never have them. Whereas now I really have learned how to work things into my diet in moderation. Like for example, I used to never buy like cookies or sweet snacks or treats or anything like that and have them in my apartment. So then whenever it was like, oh, we had donuts or we had like, you know, you would go to like little events at school or work and like everybody has like treats in front of you. That would be something where it was really hard for me to control and I would overeat them, or like say my friends ordered some like Domino's dessert or something, it would be something where I would feel like I needed to eat like seriously like 6 brownies or something to be able to be satisfied because I hadn't had it in so long. Now, what I do is like, if, you know, even if I have my whole day planned out, if my husband comes home with some crumble cookies, like I'm gonna let myself try them. Am I gonna try to track it a little bit and get a good idea of where my calories are and maybe take a couple bites of the ones that look really good to me? Yes. I also buy desserts and stuff. So like I buy Oreos, I buy Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I buy things that aren't necessarily healthy. I work them into my diet in a way that I'm adding them to things that are overall like really hitting my goals. So I basically put like sprinkles and Oreos and Biscoff cookies and cookie butter and peanut butter and all of that stuff on my yogurt bowls every time I make one. That's a way that has really helped me work in things that I love. I also will add it to plates. So like, if I have like a really big lunch like this, but I have like a little sweet tooth, I'll have my like little square of Tony's Chocolonely's chocolate ready for me, you know, already out of the package over there for when I get done eating my lunch, if I know I'm gonna want something sweet after. And then I just go grab that and go about my day, rather than it being something where I'm like telling myself, you just ate a whole lunch, you shouldn't be hungry. That's okay if you are. You just have to really practice moderation with things, and I think adding it to something that's also gonna keep you really full and satisfied is helping. You add things that you struggle with to a meal that is already gonna have you satisfied fullness-wise, but this part satisfies the craving, and those combined together is like the perfect combo. We have the question, 40 minutes of cardio 5 days a week is too much to build muscle, question mark. It depends. Nothing is too much to build muscle when we look at it in response to what you're eating. So think about a gymnast who works out all the time, right? They're so active. Are they gonna be able to build muscle still? Yes, if they're eating enough. Now, if they're completely under fueling, no, your body's not gonna have enough calories or enough protein or enough energy in general to be able to actually build tissue whenever you're super active. If you're somebody who's doing 40 minutes of cardio 5 days a week, as long as you're eating enough to be able to build muscle and you're keeping yourself at a maintenance minimum, then yes, you can definitely still build muscle with that. It just depends on if you're fueling properly. If you're not, and you're not eating enough calories, then you're not gonna build muscle. And a lot of times this is why people cut back on the cardio, is because when you're doing a lot of cardio, when you're trying to build muscle, you have to eat a lot more, and it can be really difficult to eat that much in response, you know, to get to the point where you can actually eat enough to build muscle. Because if you're working out hella, like if you're putting your body at where you have to eat 3,000 calories a day to gain muscle, especially as a woman, like that's pretty difficult. So you kind of just have to be realistic with yourself, and if it's something you need to cut back to be able to eat enough, then you may have to do that. Best way to calculate your macros. this is a great question. A lot of times it's about trial and error, but what I always say is starting out with going online to like a TDE calculator or a BMR calculator or whatever, putting all of your information in. A lot of times you have to be careful about overestimating your activity level. So if you're somebody, you know, I would say like the moderately active category is somebody, like if it says works out, heavy exercise 5 days a week, that's not gonna be you if you're going to the gym and strength training 5 days a week. It's not. You're probably gonna be the one below that. Whenever it says like heavy exercise, it's meaning like running, like athletes, like sprinting, stuff like that. If you're somebody who just goes to like workout classes 5 days a week, that's not gonna be heavily active. Now, will it be heavily active if you're somebody who goes to workout classes and hits 15K steps a day and then sometimes goes hiking on the weekends and has an active job? Yes. But if you have a normal job, you're hitting a moderate step count and you're working out 5 days a week, that's not gonna be the exercise category that says like exercise 5 days a week or whatever. You're probably gonna have to bump it down one. And so what I always do is like, if you're questioning it, just start a little bit lower than kind of where your activity is described as on the TDE calculator, because they tend to overestimate it a lot and you'll usually be closer to the ballpark of the calories that your body needs. Then once you use one of those, calculating your macros from there, they'll give you suggestions based on what you want to do, but usually I just suggest like minimum hitting 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight, right? That's beneficial for everyone regardless of what your goals are. Then when you go into it for fats, you want to be hitting around like 0.3 times your body weight minimum. You can definitely go over that, but just for your health, we want to take like 0.3, multiply that by your current body weight and make sure that you're hitting that minimum, right? And then anything else on top of that can be carbs. So if you're hitting those two minimum, you can kind of play around with your carbs. You can be over protein, over fats, have a little bit lower carbs, or be right at those and have higher carbs. It just depends on your preference. How do you prevent the vicious cycle of daily bloating, supplements, debloat powder, I don't struggle with bloating because I've cut out all the foods that my stomach reacts badly with. So my digestion reacts badly to something and I can see that happening over a couple of weeks or like multiple times that I use that product. I stop having it because to me, it's just not worth it. So like there's this one, which I don't have a lot of problems with bloating in general, but there's this one product that I hate. It's a no sugar ice cream. It tastes so good, but it's so bad for my gut and I'm extremely bloated, uncomfortable, painful every time I eat it. So like I completely cut it out. I've had reactions like that to some protein powders in the past, so I've just stopped using them and found alternatives. When I noticed that, I just stopped using the thing. But to be honest, like I honestly eat, like I don't have issues with fiber, I don't have issues with processed foods. Like I try to eat really good whole foods, but I do have processed foods and artificial sweeteners and everything like that, and none of that reacts badly with me, so I just keep having them. I do take a debloat powder. I drink the Pro Mix debloat drink, the cherry one by Kelly Matthews, every morning most of the time. I also drink electrolytes, and then my magnesium citrate that I take before bed every night really helps me regulate my digestion, which I think is beautiful. But yeah, when it comes to like your stomach expanding because you've eaten food, that's not necessarily bloated, right? Like obviously when you put food in your stomach, it's gonna get a little bit bigger. Like if you eat a really good meal and you're like, oh, I have to unbutton my pants. That's not bloating. Bloating is like extreme discomfort to where your stomach is like extending and like super tight and it hurts really bad and it's painful. In those situations, I cut out the product. Okay, this is a really good question, and I've been talking a lot about like skinny fat and lean and tone definition and stuff on my TikTok. So 105 pounds, but skinny fat. Should I increase/decrease calories and strength train more? Currently eating 14 to 1600. So it depends. I don't know like your activity level. I don't know your height. I don't know your age. So I don't know as far as like what you should do calorie wise. However, strength training 100% is what you need to do more of when it comes down to wanting to build muscle. If you're skinny fat, essentially it means you need more muscle on your frame, okay? That means we gotta build the muscle. So I would honestly recommend going through like some sort of growing phase, whether that's like eating at your, honestly, I would just say like eat at your maintenance calories. Stop putting your body in a deficit if that's what you're doing. Do this for a substantial amount of time, a few months, so that you can like really lock in on strength training, progressive overload, and eating more. Yes, you're probably gonna increase on the scale. Yes, you're probably gonna weigh more, but then you can cut down on fat a little bit more after that, you know, once you get those 3-6 months out of the way or whatever, however long you wanna do it for. Then you can go through a little like mini cut afterwards and shred that fat off, and then you're gonna be to the point where you're as lean as you want, you're at your goal weight, but you actually like the way you look instead of feeling like you don't have any muscle on your frame. So yes, I would recommend eating more, strength training more, and then doing that for a little while before you worry about fat loss again, but you can definitely get there again. What are your maintenance calories? My maintenance calories currently, I'm still kind of trying to figure it out exactly, but they're pretty much somewhere around 2,200. This week I've had a little bit of like upward scale fluctuation. So like across the first 3 weeks of eating 2,200, my scale like stayed the complete same as far as averages go. This week it's ticked up a little bit, but I have been eating out more with a lot higher sodium and holding on to a lot of water weight because my scale did jump like 3 pounds overnight one day. So because of that, I'm kind of not taking this week with much value. I want to wait until I get all of next week under my belt eating the same calorie intake to kind of see where I'm at. And I'm assuming it's probably going to even back out, but right now, based on the data that I have, they're around like 2,200. Has creatine made you feel puffier or look chubbier? Do you feel it in your clothes? Absolutely not. I love creatine. The only time I feel like puffier, like I'm holding on more water, or like what this question is referencing is like when I eat a super high sodium meal, like whenever I go to like eat chicken pho with my parents, or I eat sushi and I eat a lot of soy sauce, the next day I can immediately feel it, like inflammation, water weight, bloating. I don't feel that with creatine at all, so don't be scared of it. Trying to figure out how many carbs and fats I should be eating. I think I just answered this question in like a couple questions ago about how to calculate your macros, so that pretty much applies to that and mapping it around your protein. When should I do a reverse diet? This is interesting. Reverse diets I think are an amazing tool to use after you hit your goal weight. So if you're somebody, or if you want a diet break, right? So if you're somebody who has went through a fat loss journey, you've hit your goal weight, and now you're trying to get back up to the point of maintenance. Reverse dieting properly after that is huge. So if you've hit your goal weight, you've achieved your fat loss goals, reverse diet then. If you're somebody who has a really big weight loss goal, say you're trying to lose like 75 pounds. If you lose the first 30, you know, that takes a while, or say you get halfway and you're like, I really feel like my body needs a break. Your metabolism is slightly downregulated just because of how long you've been in a deficit. Your energy is probably low. I think it's really important to maybe like in between large goals like that, doing a small reverse diet. So maybe doing it a little bit quickly, or maybe even reverse dieting halfway and then dropping yourself back into a deficit to achieve like the last part of your goal that you have. Just because it's really easy to get burnt out in a deficit when you have big goals like that last a really long time. Marathon training, are you able to focus on body recomp while running high distances? This is really hard just considering body recomp takes gaining muscle, and if you're trying to gain muscle while running super high mileage, your priority should be maintaining muscle, right? Because you can maintain muscle. Now it's really difficult. You're gonna lose some muscle whenever you're doing long distance training. Like it really is just so hard not to, unless you're absolutely strength training to your fullest extent. I mean, even if whenever I was half marathon training, I was strength training my fullest extent, hitting my protein every single day, and like I was still losing muscle in the process. It's just really hard not to do. You have to eat so much to be able to maintain your weight while you marathon train. It's definitely necessary if you're somebody who needs to maintain weight, but I would say like when it comes down to body recomp, you're way better off doing it with like moderate cardio, you know, like zone 2 cardio rather than like long distance training. It's just gonna happen more efficiently, and it's really hard to build muscle when you're training for like endurance races like that. Can I get lean by lifting and doing incline 10, speed 3? Yes, depends on your calories, but that's a great workout combination if you have the right diet aligned with it. I eat 1,200 calories a day and get 20,000 steps and work out, but the scale doesn't move. I feel like this is something that's hard for me to help you with, simply because I don't have the data to back up what you're doing, right? I don't have the food logs to actually see what you're eating. I don't have the step counts from your Apple Watch to tell me like, yes, you are hitting that step count. I don't have the like, you know, I can't see the intensity of your workouts. I can't see if you're lifting or you're doing Pilates or whatever. And so it's hard for me to give you feedback there when I don't know the actual data. But when it comes down to it, if you're eating 1,200 calories a day and you're this active, to not lose weight, you would have to be like seriously the most petite tiny person ever. Like you would have to literally weigh like 90 pounds and be like 5 foot, probably not even that, right? Because I've had clients who are 5 foot flat, they walk 15,000 steps a day, they're still losing weight on like higher calories than that, and they're already really lean whenever they're like you know, around, you know, in the hundreds when it comes down to like scale weight. So I feel like I can't make it make sense, or I can't talk you through the changes that I would make just because I don't have the data to back it up. And I feel like a lot of times, sometimes these things come from like not tracking our data appropriately and not being able to see, not like food wise, yes, but not tracking your progress appropriately. So I would really try weighing in every single day, averaging your weigh-ins, getting body scans for your body fat percentage, and like getting a full picture of what your progress actually looks like. Because it's really easy to think you're not making progress when you are. And also take progress pictures, because I feel like even if the scale's not moving, the average still may be dropping and your body fat percentage still may be dropping, and you might be able to see that in progress pictures a lot more than you would just looking, you know, like at your weight every day or looking in the mirror every day. Eating high protein on a budget. This is a good question. I am a dairy stan, so Greek yogurt, you can do you can do like Great Value brands or off brands of Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, of course, like chicken breast, ground beef, eggs, all those things you can get like the cheaper version of. I feel like when it comes down to budgeting, just don't feel pressured to get all of the crazy organic, ultra filtered, perfect, cage-free, farm raised. Like, if you can't afford that, go with what works, and that's the basics, and you shouldn't have to apologize for that. I seriously still don't buy some of that stuff. Like, if I wanted to go in the grocery store and get all organic, perfect everything, I probably could. Do I want to? Sometimes there's just things where I just don't feel like it's necessary, and sometimes I'm like, we're going overboard with like all this optimization of everything has to be perfect. So don't stress about it. I would go for the cheap options there, and then I would focus on trying to get most of your protein from whole food sources, because it's just a lot cheaper than like protein supplements. But I would definitely do a protein powder, because that's definitely worth like the bang for your buck. So you can, you know, put that in baking, you can put it in yogurt, oats, you can put it in everything. It's really gonna help bump up your protein. But definitely going for like the dairy sources and the lean meats, like instead of like the protein snacks and stuff that are so expensive, I think will be your best bet. How do you feel about fasting? Is it beneficial? This is kind of personal preference. Fasting can be really beneficial for a lot of people. So when it comes down to a calorie deficit, if you're talking about is it beneficial for fat loss, say you're doing intermittent fasting and you eat 1,200 calories within 2 hours of the day and you don't eat the rest of the day, or say you're not doing intermittent fasting and you eat 1,200 calories but you eat once every hour and it equals the same calories, it's gonna work the same way when it comes to fat loss. So there's no benefits as far as like you losing fat faster. Now when it does come down to it being beneficial for your health, that's like a whole different thing. There are a lot of studies that you can do your own research on if you think it would be beneficial for you when it comes down to just like mental health, gut health, things like that. But if we're looking at fat loss overall, it's just about your calorie intake. So for some people, fasting is really, really a great way to help them stay in a calorie deficit, because instead of worrying about like tracking calories and macros across the entire day, maybe they can look at it and be like, okay, you know, I know this meal isn't more than 1,500 calories. If this is the only time that I'm eating, I know that I'm below the calories that I need to be to lose weight. And a lot of times that works for people because it's simpler, it's more simple of an approach, and it doesn't take as much time. I'm somebody who prefers tracking calories and macros because I feel like it provides me with more flexibility in my lifestyle. Like if I want to go out with friends, I don't just want to not order anything. You know, I can like pre-plan ahead, and I can make sure that I can be flexible and fit those things into my day well without sabotaging my goals. I can eat out a lot more. You know, I can say yes to last minute plans when my husband wants to go get, you know, some dessert or take me out for a coffee, and not feel like that I'm not achieving my goals because I'm being flexible and like enjoying my life. And I feel like tracking calories and macros gives you more flexibility to do that, which is why it's the approach that I take. When it comes to fasting though, I think it just depends on the person. So I think it definitely can be beneficial for some people, especially people who like work really, really busy lives or like are traveling all the time. If it's easy for you to just be like, I'm only eating at this point in the day, and saying no to everything else and just making it cut and dry, then I mean, I think it's worth a shot. However, it's really easy to undereat that way as well. So if you're somebody who's like already generally like really lean, or say like you're at a healthy body fat percentage and you don't have like a bunch of extra fat on you and you're trying to get leaner, I don't think it's a good idea to put yourself in a place where you could potentially be like really under eating, but instead like making sure that you're getting enough calories and just doing a moderate calorie deficit is a little bit more responsible, just so that you stay like really healthy in the process. So yeah, I think it depends on the person, as anything else does. Okay guys, that's all of the questions I got after I posted that for like an hour or so. So I really hope these helped y'all out. If you have any more, please leave them down below. And if you have any content ideas, so maybe I can get out of this freaking rut, let me know. Hopefully it doesn't last for long. I'm really trying my best to still like be creative and get content out for you guys, but sometimes it's just like no ideas are coming to my brain. It's like a writer's block, and I get so frustrated. And then it makes me like feel like I'm not doing good enough, or that I hate the process, and I just don't want to do that, because content creation for me is like so important for connection and community, and I've loved it. So yeah, that's where my head's at now. But when it comes down to my platforms and everything, y'all know where to find me. My Instagram and TikTok are linked below, so go follow me over there for daily videos if you want to see more of me. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, because it really helps out my channel and of course helps me get more content out for you guys. And then y'all all know I say it at the end of every video, the most important thing that you'll see below is a link to my permanent weight loss coaching program. This is where it is my sole focus to help my clients become the best version of themselves when it comes down to body recomposition, building muscle, losing fat. Do it in a way that you feel like is sustainable and permanent long term, so you can break out of like a yo-yo cycle of whatever you feel like you're stuck in, whether that be inconsistency or, you know, feeling like that you are stuck in a binge restrict cycle, or feeling like you can never follow through for yourself because your lifestyle is so hectic and you don't know how to operate certain circumstances when you're eating out or traveling. You have support from me 24/7 within the program, but you also have like exact guidance when it comes down to customized workouts and help with meal planning, customized macros. So it really is the full formula you need to make sure that you produce healthy, sustainable habits and learn the tools you need to keep your results once you get them, which is so important to me. So if you feel like you're in need of that support, please fill out the application below and I will reach out to you, girl, and we will figure out how to get you started. But other than that, I hope you guys have an amazing week and I will see you next Monday or Tuesday, hopefully. Bye.